with that one as well?
Well, the matter it's under negotiations, and that's as much as I can say for the time being. And I've agreed not to share or divulge any information whatsoever regarding the project, regarding the sponsor of the project, etc., etc. So I wish, not to let's say cross the border lines where the court is concerned.
No problem. Understood. We know when it comes to legal matters, we have to stick to the book, so I
Yes,
understand. Um,
yes, indeed.
Another development project that has been the talk of the town lately is in the north of the island. From the south, we go to the north. Lavera project.
Uh-huh.
That has raised a lot of eyebrows. Just last week, there was a tour of the facility, and we've heard some notes, I would call them, coming from one of the representatives in the north, Pamela Moses, in relation to that project. Your thoughts on what's taking place in Lavera?
Yes, indeed. Well, actually, it's most unfortunate, and I hate to see any minister of government, any parliamentarian being humiliated and embarrassed by anyone, be it local or even be it a non national. The fact is, what it relates to, based on that particular meeting which was held out there, the public was invited. Organization groups, etc., were invited for a tour of the project site on the grounds that a number of concerns were expressed with respect to violation of the environment out there. As you know, we have the turtles and so forth being nesting out there, and it's a very sensitive area where the environment is concerned. And so that meeting was set up, and lots of folks went out to it. My understanding, more than 50 persons attended. And they were stopped from entering the project to get the tour simply because who had the responsibility to organize and make arrangements for the minister and her team obviously did not, fulfill their responsibility. Now, that is most embarrassing indeed for anyone, far less for a minister of government. And there were two ministers there. As a matter of fact, Minister Pamela Moses, the representative for St. Patrick East, we've had the parliamentary representative for the constituency of St. Patrick West experience. And I really hope and trust that this does not occur again, because this is a reflection not just on the government, not just on the ministers themselves who were subjected to this. This is a reflection on Grenada. This is a reflection on we, the people. In other words, we can't even set up a simple meeting. And that's the message that we need to take out of it. And this is what we need to call upon government to say, we really need to engage our people in the various departments. They need to pull their weight, because this could happen again in the future. These sort of things need to be corrected. We cannot afford to continue going down that road. We have to step up to the plate and really be professional in what we're doing as a government and as a nation.
Another of the concerns in relation to the Lavera project relates to the wetland sites. Members of the community are saying that the project will encroach on the sites, and the developers have said no, basically. Which side do you tend to agree with?
Well, the fact of the matter is, and I've listened to the discourse out there, and physical planning obviously was not aware that the project actually started. And it's unfortunate that the head of physical planning himself had to make that disclosure. And this is worrying, this is frightening, because Lavera is a very sensitive ecosystem area, and it needs proper attention. We cannot allow for development to take place where it tends to degrade and destroy our environment. We have to protect these things, not just for ourselves, but for sustainability. And it's unfortunate that the planning department has made it clear that, look, we are short staff, and this is a matter that goes on for years. The physical planning unit, indeed, he's correct, it's understaffed. And the minister responsible ought to do something about it. There's just too much encroachment taking place. Look on Grandans Beach, there are now 2 hotels which have encroached. The one down at the end, Kawana Bay, you can say it's in the sand. And you wonder what is happening. Where is the sewage going? What is the plan for it? Is it going to be pumped up the hill and then to gravity flow in the lines? Or is it going to just soak its way into the sea area? You know, these are issues. Look at the problem out in St. David, where you've had the degradation of, you know, the swampland area there and so forth, or the mangroves. It's just too much of this is happening. And planning needs to come out and demand that they get the support necessary for strengthening their department. They have a serious responsibility to the nation, to the people of Grenada, and they need to speak out. But Mr. Frederick did, in fact, spoke out then that, one, he wasn't fully aware that the project actually started. 2, he wasn't fully aware of the fact that the temporary buildings for the housing of the Chinese staff was that close to the ponds. And the whole thing was just a total, you know, disaster. We have to do better than that. And government needs to introduce, I am hopeful that they have it in place, but SWOT analysis need to be done on every project. You need to know the strengths of the project, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats before you can move forward. Environmental impact assessment needs to be done. We need to do strategic planning. A SWOT analysis is a simple planning tool which businesses introduce, and certainly government, you know, needs to introduce. The matrix analyzes internal and external cause and effects, the positive and negative aspects of any project. You have to look at the return on investment of any project, the collaborative dynamics. All of this need to be looked into. It's not just accepting a project. And we have to get away from the notion that because an investor comes with a project, if it does not fit into the overall national plan, then it needs to be seriously looked at. It's obvious that government has not been doing strategic planning sufficiently enough over the years. So whoever comes up with a project, boom, we gone with it, without carrying out the SWOT analysis to determine whether if it is good for us or not good for us. We ourselves, government, the people, we need to be doing the planning as to what we want. We have experts locally on the ground in Grenada. We have experts in the diaspora. We need to involve our people more in the decision-making policy of this country. In other words, a real national development policy is necessary in moving forward. And this is what the NDC is concentrating on over the last several months. The political leader has been engaging experts and talk about Grenadian experts locally and those living abroad. We have to do this thing right. In other words, the foundation of Grenada's redevelopment has to start from the bottom up, not the top down. And we really need a new economy in Grenada because we are moving into a rather disastrous situation. We have too many of our people unemployed. We have to determine for ourselves what are the developmental strategies that we need to introduce to create good quality, long-term, sustainable jobs. Not no fancy investor who continues to trick this government over and over and over, costing the taxpayers millions and millions and millions of dollars over and over. I mean, look at the Monkatman project. I'll just mention quietly, this is about the 5th investor over the last 20, 25 years. And we have lost millions of dollars. We have signed, when I say we, I talk about the government of Grenada, because this is our government as a people, have signed guarantees over guarantees over guarantees to investors who have just swindled us over the decades. How much more can we tolerate and accept as a people? Our national debt, I'm sure, has gone past over $1 billion and more. When you analyze that debt, a significant portion of it is because of wrong decisions. How much more can we carry? these are the issues that we need to address as a people. Right now, the world is going through a change from industrialization into artificial intelligence. Are we thinking about how we train our young people in particular in order to access these new opportunities? Because make no joke about it, COVID is just the catalyst for this new world order, so to speak. And we have to be thinking as to how we move forward there. The young people are conscious of it, but is government conscious of it? Are they aware as to what the future holds for Grenada and for the rest of the world? We have to be independent as a nation to feed ourselves and to provide good quality jobs. I could imagine how the youth of this nation are totally frustrated because, one, they don't have a job, and if they have a job, they don't know how long it's going to last. How much more can we take of this? This is dangerous. And I'm encouraging Grenadians throughout. I don't care if you're NNP, NDC, whatever P you are, get registered and vote. You have a responsibility for the future of this nation. Vote according to your conscience. Vote according to what you see happening. Vote according to the future of this nation and the future of your children. Because what we experience is tantamount to madness. We need to renew our minds. We need to transform ourselves. The battle is in our mind. We will only be defeated based on what we believe. And if we believe that we're going to succeed, then we will. We need to manifest our greatness, be encouraged, and act upon our dreams. And the dream is to have a better Grenada. But we have to take action. We can't just continue dreaming. We must take action on our future dreams. So essentially, this is where we are. I really want to see a more efficient government and officers responsible for doing things do their work properly, because a lot is dependent on them. We are going through a real challenging time in this country. There's absolutely no doubt about it. I'm sure Dr. Mitchell is scratching his head morning, noon, and night as to how he's going to manage this whole situation. But we have gotten here not by choice. The whole world is going through the same thing. The fact of the matter remains, had the government prepared the foundation for this nation, we ought to have been much better off. We have a great fishing industry that has tremendous potential that we are not utilizing. Our agriculture sector, we are not utilizing it. These are two industries alone where if we had developed industries to ensure that we maximize on our fishing and agriculture, we would have long-term, good quality, sustainable jobs into decades and decades to come. We ought to be in a position to be exporting our fish and agriculture produce to the region and internationally. And that's where you get stability in your economy. That's where you get stable jobs that runs 24/7. We ought to have people in factories operating 24/7. You have the day shift, the evening shift, and the night shift. There should be no stopping because we have what it takes. Our fishermen still going out in little rowboats with a little engine at the back. We ought to be able to have trawlers where they can lease it from government or government invest in the industry and lease it to these people where they go out and catch real fish for processing, and that we can develop the end products of them. The same thing with our agriculture. I've been saying this for the past 25 years. We need food security. During the last campaign, I made it known that if something happens in the world, if a world war breaks out, we'll be in serious trouble, not knowing it was COVID. Because I got the message, I had that vision. and realizing that there is no interest in agriculture by this administration, part of my decision was to join the National Democratic Congress because they have a real vision, a real passion for the agriculture sector, including our fishing sector. Let me just repeat, just these two sectors only, if we get them right, 50% of our unemployment would be over. So we have to get serious about doing things, and we have to start from the bottom. I know the National Democratic Congress at times has been accused of, oh, you're not hearing them, they're not doing this, they're not doing that. But my friend, the foundation starts in the ground, and that's what you don't see in the creation of a beautiful building. It must be done right. And that is where it's almost starting all over again. And we would have to engage our local, regional, and international citizens who have contributions to make towards this new national transformation policy. We need a new roadmap. We need a revolution to really, I'm not talking about a physical, but we need a revolution in taking this country forward. And again, I repeat, not a physical, but in our thinking, renewing our mind, transforming ourselves. The battle is in the mind, and that we will only be defeated based on what we believe. So we need to engage our experts. We have endless Grenadian experts locally and abroad. We need to engage them. They must contribute towards national development. And this is what I appreciate under the leadership of the NDC political leader. She is passionate about education and passionate about development. There are people in the NDC who are keen on developing this nation, and they must be given a chance once again to transform this country.
Before we go to the break, Mr. Forrester, there are folks in the comment section of the Facebook feed. Some of them are saying you had the opportunity to speak out against some of these wrong decisions while you were a part of the NNP. Why didn't you speak out then?
I know there are individuals who will say this, but let me just clarify one more time, which I've done hundreds of times already. I was never part of the cabinet. I was never part of the Senate nor the Parliament. I was simply the spokesperson for the NNP party. When decisions are taken in the cabinet, I was never there. It was never shared with me. Only when government or the party got in trouble, I was given a script, and this is the position that we stand. And I would say, is this true or is this false? And I'll always get the response, this is correct, this is true, this is factual. Like an attorney, you go to an attorney and you say, look, I want you to defend me on an issue. They're accusing me of X, Y, Z. You defend. Regrettably and unfortunately, at times, the attorney learned later on down the road, you know, this damn man lied for me. But the case is concluded. What can you do? The fact is, God puts you in a position where he wants you at that particular point in life. And you have a journey to travel. And every experience is important towards the end game of that journey. Make the best out of it.
On that note, let's take a quick break, Mr. Forrester, and then we're going to come back with the discussion. We're speaking with Mr. Terrence Forrester of the National Democratic Congress. On to the point, GBN and Classic, actually. We'll be right back.
Get away from your daily stress with a Grenada vacation at the Koyaba Beach Resort. Koyaba is located on the world-famous Grand Anse Beach and boasts 5.5 acres of beautiful garden. We offer excellent service, good food and drink, well-appointed rooms and friendly staff in a safe environment. Facilities include 2 restaurants, 2 bars, swimming pool, water sports, tennis, gym, and body treatment rooms. 044 4129.
No, that's not how you cross the pedestrian crossing.
Really? One day I just woke up and I saw pedestrian crosswalks on the road. No one really showed me how to use them properly.
Well, this is how it's done. You never cross before doing these things. They might save your life. First, when you get to the crosswalk, you stop. You look left, you look right. If there's a vehicle coming, you put your hand out, making eye contact with the driver, indicating that you want to cross. And only when the vehicle comes to a complete stop, you quickly cross to the other side.
Stop, look, hand out, eye contact. Wait for pedestrian to cross to the other side, then you happily continue on your journey. This message is brought to you by this group of insurance companies, the Traffic Advisory Body, and the Traffic Department.
Francis Urias Peters. I'm a good listener, and K105 has always been a great source of education and entertainment. Now, while the station name may have changed over the years, it has always provided valuable information which enabled me as a playwright to document and to celebrate our history, our behavior, and our achievements. K105 is my choice. It's the national station.
Prevent cold and flu by washing your hands with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. That's the time it takes to remove most germs. No soap and water? No worries when you've got alcohol-based hand sanitizer.
Stop the spread of germs that can make you and others sick. Cover your nose and mouth with a tissue when you cough or sneeze. If you don't have a tissue, use your elbow. Wash hands often, especially after coughing or sneezing into a tissue.
Welcome back to the Point, speaking with member of the National Democratic Congress, Terrence Forrester. At this point in the program, we would invite members of our viewing and listening public who may have comments, questions, queries, concerns for Mr. Forrester. This is your chance to do so. Please, if you can keep your phone calls to 1 minute or less in the interest of time, that would be greatly appreciated so that we can see how many we can facilitate during the next 10 minutes or so. Let's take our first caller. Good morning, caller.
A pleasant good morning to you. Now, I listened in the news to the crossing awards, the warring between Mr. Boson and that investor. I am now hearing Mr. Forrester, who is bringing out certain things like, for example, people in position, in government position, who should be doing this, doing that, doing the other, so that there would not have been this confusion between Mr. Boson and that Forrester. I am rather embarrassed to know that I see in the government corrupt. I want to make it very clear, very, very clear. I am not taking no sides, but the facts that are coming in into us, what is really happening? Because again, the people are saying, okay, a hotel, the boundaries of a hotel should go just far. I heard that your hotels on the beach actually in the sea. What are we doing? The things that we're supposed to set right. I also hearing that people go down on the beach and they can't think there, and the hotel people driving them, etc. What do we do when we hear things in that? And then
thank you, caller.
People coming to, overseas to embarrass us. Yes, I'm hear you.
Thank you very much, caller. Mr. Forrester?
Well, the caller is absolutely right. We need to mind our business as a people and call upon our government to take the necessary corrective measures. You walk on Grandlands Beach right to the end, and you will see the Koana Bay project. The retainer wall is on the sand, and the building itself, which is about 6 or 7 stories, comes from the top road all the way down. We need explanation as to where the sewage is going, because liquids go in a gravity flow. So when you flush a toilet from the 7th floor, it has to go down. It's not going to go up, except you engineer some special pumping station to pump the sewage from the bottom of the septic tank up to the top road, then to be disposed of. These are things that the public needs to be assured of. Okay, the technology exists and it's possible to have such, but in the event there is a breakdown in that system, then we need to know what are the backup plans to take care of sewage in the event there is a breakdown of whatever is being planned. Then you look at the other project up at the other end, where we had to draw attention to the fact that the 50-meter boundary from the edge of the water to the building line was totally disrespected. This was spoken about over and over and over. The minister it was brought to his attention, and his response was the man just made a little mistake. Now, hello, we need to start taking control of our business. The sustainability of this nation rests in the hands of the Grenadian people, not the Prime Minister nor the government of the day. And we need to be more conscious as to what is happening and what is taking place in our country as a people. Wake up and realize what is happening. Like one individual mentioned the other day, I think I heard him on a Sunday program, he is making reference to the fact that Grenada continues to be high up on the corruption curve internationally. We therefore can't attract good quality, sustainable investors. What are we going to attract? Now tell me, what are we going to attract? Who are we going to attract? You get what you put out there. It comes back to you.
Let's go to another caller. Good morning, caller.
Yes, good morning, citizen. Well, greetings. And greetings to your guest, Mr. Forrester. You know, indeed, I enjoy listening to Mr. Forrester. I indeed do like listening to him. But there's somewhere along the line that we've been, shortcut. If they be such a word. Listen. Mr. Forrester, in his delivery, he spoke of foundation. He spoke of building, transformation. Very powerful words there. And he speaks, as a matter of fact, because he understands that is the way this here country has to go for us to bring about any meaningful change. But here's where he falls short. The foundation of a country is based upon the institutions of the state and the laws which back them up. In other words, the ecosystem around it. There is no doubt today that the state of Grenada is illegitimate because it doesn't have a legitimately approved and validated constitution. Then, if the foundation is what we have to build on, you can't start from a window up and building a house. Why is it, this is my question, that people with such influence and such voices, as Mr. Forrester and others and the party he represents, why is it you don't tell the people the truth about the foundation of the country? This is my question this morning, and it will continue to plague me until I switch off. Tell us about the foundation of the country. Can we build anything on the foundation, the current architectural structure of this here country? Can we? Why don't you talk to the people and tell them the truth, for Christ's sake?
Thank you very much, Citizen Rollo. Mr. Forrester?
Mr. Rollo is very passionate about a matter that we too all need to be passionate about. The legal architecture and foundation of this country is misplaced. And he has been echoing this call for a very long time. And those who are in a position to challenge him, or those who are in a legal position to respond, are quiet. The fact remains, this responsibility rests upon all of us, not just Mr. Rollo, but we must thank him and give him the credit for having the courage to bring it forward to the attention of all of us, but more so the legal luminaries. And I would really like to see they take up that challenge. But the National Democratic Congress is very cognizant of what Mr. Rollo has been preaching. And this is something that we have to address at some point very soon in the future. It is part of the foundation that we speak of, foundation of making sure that we can carry the load. A foundation is built upon load carriage. So we know that the legal architecture of this country is in chaos. It's in a mess. And therefore, that is part of the foundation planning that we are talking about. That is part about moving forward. And the new national discussion has to be part of the new national discussion as we move forward. So let me thank him for continuing to address this issue. And let me call upon our legal luminaries to pay attention to it. Let me call upon the government to give attention to this matter so that we can move forward with some form of assurance that we have what it takes legally in order to strengthen the future of this nation. So thank you, Mr. Rollo, for your contribution in this matter. You're not ignored. You are listened to, and the time will come. I trust that you will continue to be around to see the change that you have been preaching. It's needed, it's necessary.
There's a WhatsApp question. Earlier, Mr. Forrester said that in the NNP he was just given a script and read it as the spokesman. How are we sure that it's not the same thing happening now? How are we sure that it's not the same thing happening now?
Well. Whosoever it is, let me make it clear to you. When you're on a team, then you work with a team. That is the vision of the team that I am associated with, and I'm espousing the vision of this team. I want to invite you to embrace it, because this is precisely what we are doing, building the foundation. And a foundation is never seen when the product is completed, but you know it's there. So we have to start somewhere. You can accept it or you can reject it, but this is the reality.
Somebody else on WhatsApp is asking, can you say if your court matter is with the previous Mount Hartman developers or the current ones?
The previous.
Previous, all right. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Gotham, and good morning to your guests. Mr. Forrester, I have a question I would like you to help me with. No, for a long time, I've been having many different persons quoting the Prime Minister as saying, well, I would use the word alleged that he said, I don't know, that he will make this country unmanageable. If he did say so, do you think that's where we are at now, or are we heading there very fast? Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, let me first of all say that I have never heard him in person making such a statement, but I've heard others accusing him accordingly. But personally, I don't recall hearing him saying it. Now, the fact remains now, we are at that crossroad in Grenada where serious decisions need to be taken as to which direction we go. First of all, in my opinion, we need a new economy in this country. We need a new way of basically doing things. We have to start doing things properly. We have to start analyzing things. We have to be strategic in the way that we operate. We have to have collaborative dynamics in the whole operation of moving forward. We have to start looking within on our people and those who are outside. We have to minimize looking at foreign investors to solve our problems. We have to start depending on our people and our own resources to build as we move forward. This is why we are calling for a national transformation policy, a new roadmap, a revolution that is needed to take place, because there is a worldwide revolution right now. Whether if you like to believe it or not, there is a worldwide revolution taking place, from industrialization to now artificial intelligence. And we have to be cognizant of these things in order to start preparing the nation, preparing the youth in order to embrace the changes that is coming. And they are coming. So the crossroad where we are at right now, we have gotten there because of poor economic planning, poor strategic planning over the decades. We have been too reliant and dependent on one sector and ignoring the other. I'm not saying that that particular sector you needed not to pay attention. We got to pay attention to all the opportunities that Grenada can develop at this time. The tourism, the agriculture, the fishing, the manufacturing, etc., etc. It's not about one against the other. We have to have a wide net in order to embrace all the opportunities that we can embrace, train our people, skills training, as our political leader continues to echo over and over whenever she speaks. Skills training is fundamental for the development of our people in good quality job creation. We spoke about, well, the government spoke about a science and technology park since in 1996, 97, going down there. Where is the science and technology park? So that our young people can really develop themselves and show their creativity in producing stuff. The minister responsible for science and technology, Dr. Mitchell, he has been at that position for decades. The entire Caribbean, the OECS, CARICOM, don't have a strategy on science and technology. The National Development Plan needs to be enforced, and we have to embrace it. But strategic planning is part of the way forward.
I'm glad you brought up the way forward, Mr. Forrester. As we wrap up, what do you think is the one most important step in that way forward?
Well, the one important step right now, we don't have an economy, so we need a new economy. We need a new national discussion to start taking place as to how we create jobs for the thousands and thousands of jobless young people in particular in this country. We need to start looking within rather than outside to get our solutions. We have the brain power locally. A lot of them are outside. We need to engage them. We need to have this national transformation policy where we start talking to our people about the new roadmap, because we are at a crossroad right now. We are not concentrating about briefcase and this corruption and that corruption. That is not going to take us forward. What is going to take us forward is how we plan the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And we are too much of short-term planners in this country. Our Chinese friends, they plan 50 years in advance. So whatever you see them doing today is projected for the next 50 years. We need to start copying some of these things. We need to start saying to them, we just don't want concrete buildings. We want real technology to develop our agriculture and fishing industries so that we can create the quality jobs for our people. So we really need to wake up and realize that we are at this crossroad right now. 50% unemployment is unacceptable. The young people, they have been very patient. I really hope that they continue to be that way, because this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. And we need to have this new economy for new jobs and to determine the way forward.
Mr. Forrester, thank you very much for speaking with us today, for being our guest. Appreciate it for your comments, your insightful thoughts. Thank you very much. Have yourself a pleasant Tuesday. I was about to say Thursday.
Thank you very much indeed, and thank you to all your callers and all those who commented, and please have a God bless day.
Same to you as well. Enjoy it and stay
Thank
safe.
Thank you.
That was member of the National Democratic Congress, Terrence Forrester, our guest this morning. We thank him once again for sharing some of his day or his morning with us. We appreciate it. And thank you, our listeners and viewers, for participating and viewing, listening the program. Always appreciate your time. Thank you for your participation. We're getting ready to join the live feed of this morning's CPL semi-final game featuring unbeaten Trinbago Knight Riders against former champions Jamaica Talawas. That match is scheduled to start at 10 a.m., but there's the pre-game warm-up, which is scheduled to start in a few minutes. That's the end of my time today. I'll be back with you tomorrow, God willing. Until then, stay safe. Joseph is up next, and he'll ensure that you get all the action from the cricket. Have a good one, everybody.